Okay, so in this short tutorial, I'm going to show you all how to do this Tableau assignment for labor force participation. Okay, here we go. So the first place we're going to go for macroeconomic data is we're going to go to the FRED website. Actually, you can get there by just going to Google. Oh my gosh, my website's slow too. And typing in FRED, and then going to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Now from here, we're going to look up labor force participation rates. I've already searched for it, so I'm going to click on it and hit search. And in this assignment, you're going to be looking at different, having a graph for age, a graph for gender, and a graph for different race demographics. So I'm just going to walk you through. You see, for age, we've got 25 to 54. There's 55 and older, and there's 16 through 19. So those will be three different plots that you'll put into one graph. I'm going to do two of those here in the FRED website, and then I'll show you how to export those to Tableau in case you want to pursue the Tableau extra credit assignment. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click 25 to 54. This is the labor force participation. I've got the plot. Now, if I want to add another plot on top of this, I just click Edit Graph. Sidebar pops up. I'll go Add Line. And I will type the second series I want to add, which is labor force. Well, I'll just participation. I'll hit enter to search. Nope, I didn't want the rate. No options. Oh my gosh. Am I falling? This is. That said no options there. I need to get rid of that rate. I'm sorry. Let's see. I'll remove that one. I was trying to find so I'll go through this again. Add line. Labor force participation. And I already got 25 to 54. Let's go ahead and add 16 to 19 on here also. So I select the series I want to add. I click Add Data Series, and I'll have my second plot. You'll notice that there's a key that's created up here and your plots. Now, this is where I'm going to stop as far as in the FRED. Okay, so you'll have to go through that process and actually create three graphs, one for age, one for gender, one for race, and I want all categories that you can find within each of those. Okay, so this is only partially complete here. Now, if you want to download this, so the assignment is to actually look at the drop in participation post 2008, and the drop after COVID, and then write up a short little summary paragraph about who's dropping out and who isn't. So if you want to actually write this up, how you're going to get this graph into either Word or PowerPoint is you're going to download. And if I want to put it into Word, I might save it as an image, or I might just save it as a PowerPoint. I can export it in either way. And then you can add in your commentary below that graph and edit it. If you go to PowerPoint, you won't be able to upload that into Wolfden. So what you'll need to do then is actually save your PowerPoint as a PDF. You can do PowerPoint to PDF, or you can go save it as an image and plop it into Word. Okay? That's how you can do it right there. That's the flat assignment. Now, if you want to go for the extra credit, you want to do a little extra reach, what I suggest doing is taking all the data series that you have available. So I would suggest replicating what I just did as far as adding data series, except do that for all categories that we're looking at, for race, for gender, for age, all categories, and making a graph of all categories. Okay? So pretend that I did that. I haven't done that, but just pretend that I did. Right now I only have two, but pretend I did it for everything. Okay, so how to get this into Tableau? This is how to do it. You can download this as an Excel file. It'll come up. Here it is, FRED graphs. Okay. Now, they make you enable editing. I think that's so stupid on Microsoft's part, but we'll get into that another time. So look, here you'll notice that what it's done is it's put all of my series together. So this is the reason why I said put all of your graphs together in the Fred first and export, because actually what it does is it's actually merged all those data series into one data sheet. You can also download them individually and then actually in Tableau merge them, but that's an extra step of complexity that I'm afraid it's going to cause tripping stones for people. So this is the easiest way. Okay. Now I want us to take a quick look up here and take a look really specifically. I want us to notice that these are the variable names. Does that make any sense at all? Makes none to me. Okay. LNS113, that's their own internal coding for this series. Now above that, you'll see there's several lines of data. This data is actually called, anybody know? Probably not. It's called metadata. Metadata is actually data about data. That's what metadata is. So you have metadata whenever you take a picture on your phone. You've got the picture as the data, but it actually has metadata, which is location, time, other types of stamps are actually associated with that. So what you're going to want to do, and this is really critical, is you're going to want to rename your variables so that they make sense. So when you go into Tableau, you're not looking at these variables going, okay, that's great, these are plots, but what are these plots? It's not going to make any sense. So look, the one ending in 60 is the participation rate for 25 to 54-year-olds. So go ahead and name it something, and it could be anything. It doesn't matter so long as it makes sense to you, and that's all you have to know. I will say one thing. When you create variable names, I'll give you best practices. You don't want spaces. You don't want it to start with a number, okay? So if you want to use a space, what I typically do is an underscore. So I'll do PR for participation rate. I'll do an underscore for a space, and I'll do 25 underscore 54. Now I know that's participation rate for 25 to 54. That makes more sense to me. I'll rename the second variable PR underscore 16 underscore 19, just like that. If you notice observation date, that's kind of an ugly looking variable. I'm just going to call that date. Okay. Last step will actually be to just make it more easily readable in Tableau. Just click on the row space. Don't try to highlight like boxes like this and delete it. Actually, I want to delete all of these rows. So you highlight these rows, right click, delete. Do not hit delete on your keyboard. I'll show you what happens. If I hit delete on my keyboard, I'll show you what happens. So if I go up here and I go delete, it just deleted the data, but it didn't take away the rows. I actually want to get rid of the rows, so I'll right click, delete. Just like that. Okay? After you've sort of cleaned it up and made it so this will just kind of make it easier when you get into Tableau, go ahead and save that. Okay, once you save that, then what you're going to do is actually pull it into Tableau. This is a different type of a project for micro. I'm going to close this out without saving changes, okay? Let me start a new Tableau. Tableau. I'm not going to open up an old sheet. Your Tableau, now so what we're going to do when you get to Tableau, this is your connection box. It's going to allow you to connect to different types of files. We saved this as an Excel file, so go here, Excel file. I had it in downloads. You want to locate the data you just created, and it'll give you a data preview window. Okay. Now with this data preview window, it looks pretty good, looks pretty clean because we already cleaned it up. So we can actually go straight to the worksheet. You can create a new worksheet by selecting sheet 1 down here, and a new worksheet pops up. This is where you actually create your visualizations. Okay, so remember, we're creating a time series graph. On the x-axis is time. On the y-axis will be our different measures. So if we look at this pane, it's sort of, you see there's a sort of an x-axis, sort of a y-axis like right here. You can pick either one. I know date's going to be up on the x-axis, so let's go ahead and grab date and drag it over and drop it in. What you'll notice is that it actually created, on the top, there's columns and rows. Those are your x and y. Think about them like x and y axes for these kind of time series graphs. Date's been put up there. I want to show you, you could also do the same thing by just dragging date right up there directly. Okay? Either's okay. Now, there's a nuance in Tableau that you need to be aware of when it comes to dates. If you click on the arrow, the little caret, you'll get a drop down. In that drop down, you see a year, quarter, month, day. Okay? This is actually monthly data. But this is a big mistake people, newbies make with Tableau, is we don't want to select month right there. We actually want to select the month where you see it says month, but there's actually the month and year associated. That's the one with, so there's two different types. And you should know the difference between the two is that when I select month from this top bar, what it's going to do is it's going to look at all months of January, all months of February, and I've got repeated months over, this is like many different years of data, so there's going to be a lot of Januaries, a lot of Februarys, a lot of Marches. It'll condense those into a monthly analysis, which can be helpful sometimes, but that's not what we're doing here today. Today we're actually trying to draw that whole series. Okay, so now we want to come and select month with the associated year. There we go. I corrected it. Now we pull in our measures. I drop it right in the rows. So remember, this is the participation rate for 16 to 19-year-olds. There it is. Okay. There's going to be participation rate for 25 to 54-year-olds. I can bring it and drop it right here. Now, you'll notice this created two graphs. That's actually not so pretty, right? And if once you go and you have all the different, so I think there's 3 age brackets. You'll actually have 3 different graphs individually kind of stacked under each other. It's not going to look so great. You actually want to condense these into one single graph. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, does it go like this? I can just drag it straight up, pull it straight up, and I got it. Okay. You may need to. Actually, I don't have another series, but you're going to want to get these all in one chart. That's what you're going to want to do. So you're going to have one chart for age, one chart for gender, one chart for race, and then we'll start to look at the at these different types. Okay, so another thing I'll show you here about Tableau. It says sheet 1. That's also kind of nonsensical, right? So what I suggest doing is actually coming down to the sheet, double clicking it, and let's go ahead and just type in age, because this is the age demographic, and you notice it changed the title right there. Now, remember, I'm only doing this for 2 metrics. If I imported all my metrics, all of my metrics would be right listed over here. So let's just pretend I'm not completing this assignment all the way through, but let's just pretend that like I also had gender metrics over here as well. I can actually just go add another sheet, and then repeat the process for gender. Okay? It's just that it's really about that simple. Some of y'all are going to have some maybe some challenges and some bumps. You might need to Google search some things to try to figure out how to overcome those, but that's it. So again, there's 2 options to complete this assignment. Number 1 is you complete the assignment and you can actually do it on the Fred website. You don't even need to go to Tableau to complete this assignment. Just go straight to the Fred website and create your graphs, and then export these and then put them into Word and write them up, or do them in Tableau and write them up. Now, I'll say with Tableau, once you get your graphs actually, and you want to export them, I believe, what is this? The date? No, it's file, and it's going to be export. You can export as PowerPoint. Let's see. I wonder also analysis. Does it just have it here too? I'm trying to see. Dashboard worksheet. You can export this or save as import workbook. I think it's one of these. You can export it as a PowerPoint and then put it, directly kind of play with it there and then save that PowerPoint as a PDF. Or another thing you can do is actually, you can print screen it. That's okay too. What I don't want to see in your submission, if you do Tableau, is I don't want to see all of this Tableau stuff. What I want to see is I want to see your graphs up here as they are. So we don't have legends either, right? So if I do label, no, not label. Actually, what I'll do, well, I'll leave that up to you, okay? You're going to need to put labels on here also. You'll have to search for that. And just so that I know like what the orange graph is, what the blue graph is, because right now it doesn't say anything. So you'll have to put a legend up there and label it in that way. I know one way to do it, I think, is to go create a dashboard, and you can actually pull in the age sheet. Did it put it in? No, it did not put in a. It did not put that. Oh, it did actually. It did. So when I went and so one way to do it is to actually create a dashboard, which is the second little box down here. Create a dashboard, and then you drag your age sheet in, and it's going to automatically create. It's going to create a legend for you. That's an easy way to do it. And then again, you can also just export this worksheet. I think you can save it either as a PNG file and then put it in, or as a PowerPoint. And that's it. Okay. Okay. So let me just. That's the end of this tutorial video. Oh, it's down there to stop.